special guest in studio, as we always do on Mondays. It's time for us to take a look at money and faith in finance. It's Drew Blazsik in studio right now from Adrian College. And Dave, he's sitting in your chair. I just want to let you know.
Oh, good. I appreciate that. And really an incredible intelligence in the studio now, sitting in the chair. I hope it changes the curve a bit. Drew, everybody's thinking about money right now. Everybody's spending a lot of money, probably money they don't have as Christmas is upon us.
Yeah, I mean, I would say one thing is that I feel like I'm moving up in this world sitting in this chair. I can't tell you what it feels like. It's like an early Christmas gift.
Well, if stupid statements and the need to sing come upon you, just let it go. Just let it go.
Yeah.
We were talking a couple of Fridays ago about an encyclical and how it relates to us in the here and now. So maybe we want to pick it up from there, Drew.
Yeah, we kind of took a break a couple times from it, but I wanted to read some quotes from Rerum Novarum, which was by Pope Leo XIII, that really he was addressing the issue with you have the emergence. Now, we talked about it before, the emergence of capitalism, which you cannot really define capitalism, so you have to specifically talk about it. And we're talking about money power. We're talking about people acquiring wealth, land, property, and using that on other laborers. And then you got the emergence during this time of socialism. So he had to write the encyclical. So I kind of want to go through a couple points. What does the Catholic Church talk about when we talk about these economic systems? So it's important, first off, to realize the Catholic Church understands that the source of all value is labor. So when we look at something, that is the source of value, and we protect that. So here's a couple quotes, and I think this will get a good understanding where the Catholic Church stands between the different forms of capitalism, but more specifically socialism. It reads, "The mischief has been increased by rapacious usury." So it's going to define usury again, which although more than once condemned by the Church, is nevertheless under a different guise, but with the like injustice still practiced by covetous and grasping men. To this must be added that the hiring labor and the conduct of trade are concentrated in the hands of comparatively few, so that a small number of very rich men have been able to lay upon the teeming masses of the laboring poor a yoke little better than that of slavery itself.
That is beautifully written.
So to unpack that, what is it talking about? It's talking about in Europe in the Middle Ages, people had their land or they worked on the Lord property and they took care of themselves. They took care of themselves. And now you had the emergence of usury where people had to pay off debt. How do you do that? You have to borrow more, and then you had taxes. Now you had to pay money. There's a book written by Michael Hoffman about usury. I wanted to quote this. So this is what this is talking about. Why is it considered like slavery? He wrote, Thorold Rogers, which was a professor of political economy at Oxford University in the Middle Ages. He said, at that time in the Middle Ages, a laborer could provide all the necessities for his family for a year by working 14 weeks.
14 weeks.
14 weeks. That means you had everything taken care of. And then you have this transition into the Industrial Revolution where people were being used in the factories, children were being used. It took the father away from the home. It broke him away from the home. And then children had to work, and so did women had to work in the factories. And that's what he's addressing, that it's becoming a form of slavery because they had to do that to pay off the loans and taxes.
So the borrower becomes slave to the lender.
Yeah. And what's real fascinating about this, too, is that there's other historians talked about how the Catholic Church had 200 holy days. So you worked to take care of your family, and then the rest of the year is for the holy days of the church and your family, and that's what you dedicated. And that's what we do not have in today's society. So to go a little bit more about it, the encyclical goes on and says, it is surely undeniable that when a man engages in remunerative labor, which is the money paid for work or a service, the impelling reason and motive of his work is to obtain property, and thereafter to hold it as his very own. If one man hires out to another his strength or skill, he does so for the purpose of receiving in return what is necessary for the satisfaction of his needs. He therefore expressly intends to acquire a right full and real, not only to be remuneration, but also to the disposal of such remuneration just as he pleases. So just to unpack that, it is the right the Catholic Church sees that a man should be able to acquire property, use that property to make a profit, and to take care of his family. Mm-hmm. So it is, and that's what socialism was, taking that right away from the worker, where the state would own all property.
Yeah, you work for the state, you don't work for your own advancement.
So the Catholic Church stands for the individual has the right to acquire property, and it actually promotes it. It promotes to live on sustenance as you take care of yourself through the labor of what you have. Okay, a couple more things. Thus, if he says sparingly, saves money, and for greater security, invests his savings in land, and the land in such cases is only his wages under another form, and consequently a worker's man little estate thus purchased should be as completely as his full disposal as are the wages he receives for his labor. But if it is precisely in such power of disposal that ownership obtains, whether the property consists of land or chattel, socialists, therefore, by endeavoring to transfer the possessions of individuals to the community at large, strike at the interest of every wage earner, since they would deprive him of the liberty of disposing of his wages and thereby of all hope and possibility of increasing his resources and of bettering his condition in life. So we need enable for the laborer to have his property and take care of himself to better his life. And that's what the Catholic Church stands for.
And if people want to look this up, what's the name of the encyclical is?
Rerum Novarum by Pope Leo XIII.
Wonderful.
Love it. Thank you, Drew.
Yeah, have a Merry Christmas.
Hey, you guys have a great Christmas too.
We won't see you next week because we won't be here.
Okay. I guess,
so you get a week off or a day off.
That sounds great. I'll see you guys 2 weeks then.
Yeah, we'll see you on the first Friday in January.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back here on Morning Offering.